The latest chapter of Boruto dropped, and while it was once again a slow chapter, there were plenty of promises sprinkled in to keep our attention. Beyond this, there has also been some special news about the Naruto series announced, but we'll save that for the end of the video. For now, let's focus on the latest chapter of Boruto. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. And be sure to check and see if you're still subscribed. YouTube has been unsubscribing people lately for whatever reason, and we just want to make sure that you don't miss out on any more of our videos. And if you're looking for new ways to be stylish in the new year, why not order some Amagi merch? The store is linked below. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. The latest chapter sees more of the shinobi's time playing house with Ida and Damon. It picks up just moments after where the last chapter ended, having seen a quick snippet of the future in which Mitsuki, Sarada, and the others are chasing Kawaki. The voice in Boruto's head begins speaking once more. Momoshiki begins to mention that those blue eyes will take everything from you in regards to Kawaki. Given the phrasing of the words, I highly doubt that this will result in Boruto's death. Kawaki won't kill Boruto, he'll just take away everything that he loves, likely being his family and his village. This jibes with what Momoshiki stated about Boruto's future being so bad that he'll want to die, letting Momoshiki take over. This also goes along with what we see from the time skip shown in the future. Boruto is obviously alive, but Naruto's status is unknown, with Kawaki stating as he stands on the ruined face of the Hokage monument that he will send Boruto where he sent Naruto, something that heavily sets Boruto on edge. Momoshiki states that Boruto and his own ability to share thoughts seems to link their abilities to see the future. Boruto quickly surmises that it comes from the future due to the events shown having never occurred before. Switching back, Amado and Naruto's entourage continue to speak about the things that Amado has done, and the things he could still possibly do. It's here that I feel like the characters are being a bit gullible. Everyone except Shikamaru, who likely is the one being trusted to stay vigilant, while everyone else believes every word Amado says. Naruto, putting the obvious pieces together as always, only now seems to be truly understanding of the situation. Amado wants to bring Akebi back, and in order to do so, he's using the Otsutsuki's karma seals. Further study of the seals through Kawaki was how Amado planned to learn all that there is to know about karma. Once more, Shikamaru is skeptical of the whole situation, asking Ida to look into the past to see if Akebi was all that good of a person, and wasn't like someone who wants to destroy the village. Given how Delta is, and the fact that this is obviously a large arc, Shikamaru wants to cover all of his bases. This, of course, still offends Amado, but public security is top priority. Ida mentions that it is strange that Shikamaru asks her, but confirms that she was an ordinary girl. Amado states that he's not a shinobi or anything, just a civilian trying to bring back what he lost. Shikamaru explains that he thought his backstory would be spicier, and to be frank, the writer is being very obvious that he plans to take this in a new direction sometime in the future. Mark it down. Amado is going to be the big villain. Naruto says that it is Amado's business, but asks why he would hide it from the village, and Amado would say that it was just that, none of their business. It is a private matter between Amado and Kawaki. How could Naruto or the village really have helped him anyway? Kawaki would then look at his seal and state that he had always hated his karma seal, as it was a symbol of all the bad things that had happened in his life, and that it's what made him live the life of a fugitive and brought Naruto to harm. But he states that it's not the karma seal that he hates. It's the Otsutsuki that placed it on him. The Otsutsuki were the ones who made him a punching bag, a fugitive, and brought Naruto to harm. And that brings him to the next question. He asks Amado if his daughter will become an Otsutsuki when she returns to life. To this, Amado seems to be having a bit of a nervous breakdown, removing his glasses, slumping, and rubbing his face, making all of his troubles obvious for everyone else to see. A little too obvious if you ask me. He says that he truly does not know what will happen if he uses this. this. He has never tried it before. There's no telling if she'll come out a human, Otsutsuki, or if it'll even work. The only thing he knows about it is that it's his last chance to bring her back to life. Class rep overhears this and seems to sympathize with him. It's then that Ida says that she's tired and ready to sleep. Naruto states that they did just arrive and that it's only natural for them to be tired after such a long trip. Shikamaru would apologize for prioritizing their needs over hers and Damon's. Ida accepts this, stating that everyone is going to need to learn to adapt to the new situation, not just the citizens of Konoha, but Ida and Damon as well. That night, as everyone is laying in bed, Boruto can't shut off his mind. He keeps thinking about the vision he had, as well as Momoshiki, that Kawaki would take everything from him. Ida is also not asleep. She sits up to view Kawaki, who is brooding on his bed, likely thinking about what Amado said about his karma being the pathway to bringing back Akebi. The next panel, I actually couldn't tell if it was just showing the sky, which had been shown above the house earlier, or if they were insinuating that Kawaki had ninja poofed away. Considering that the ominous JoJo characters were floating around Kawaki and then one is shown on the next panel, I would be inclined to say that he poofed, but besides that, the style for the poof doesn't match what we're used to, not to mention that the translation of some of the characters said "voo," which was the sound the wind was making in the sky earlier. In the end, I guess it doesn't really matter, nor does it affect the plot any, as Kawaki is present during breakfast. During this scene, we get some levity as Boruto finally mentions what we're all wondering. He asks Ida that if he is also technically Otsutsuki, why isn't he a candidate for her possible boyfriend? Damon snaps off that it's because he's ugly as sin. Boruto catches himself quickly, as he just about thought of killing Damon, which, if we remember the events of the last chapter, even merely the thought and intent of harming Damon results in you getting harmed. So even thinking about killing Damon bounces back on you, causing you to experience what you were thinking about doing to him. Boruto literally almost gets killed in this moment, but to set his mind at ease, Ida speaks to him, telling him that he's a very nice boy, but that he's only 12 and she's 16, looking for someone closer to her age range. Boruto asks why that matters, and Damon chimes in that she's just trying to be nice, and that it's truly because he's a real mirror breaker. Kawaki begins to start piecing things together and begins to tell Ida what he has surmised. He knows that she has been teamed up with Code for a while and that Code needs an Otsutsuki sacrifice to complete his mission of awakening a new Ten Tails. He mentions that Code also refused to feed Kawaki to it because she had asked that much of him, further stating that it must have meant that she had consciously chosen to feed Boruto to the Ten Tails instead of him. Damon compliments Kawaki on the number of his brain cells, saying that he's smarter than he looks. Kawaki states that, just as he thought, anyone who has any interest in him is trash. Damon warns Kawaki to be careful how far he goes in what he says. Boruto tells them to chill, saying that if anyone should be upset, it's him, due to being both a reject and a planned sacrifice. Ida slams the table, causing the entire room to go silent. Calming herself down after her outburst, she states something simple: there aren't enough girls. Most of the boys in the room are confused at what she means by that. Ida states that there are too many boys in the room, leaving her in the minority as the only girl. She states that there should be more girls in the home with them so that she can properly express herself. She handpicks Sarada and Sumire to be the new housemates, and so Shikamaru begins clearing them. Shikamaru also clears his own son, Shikadai, to go with them, as he appeared to be completely unaffected by her powers. Sarada is confused but decides to go anyway, and Sumire can't understand why she was personally chosen. To that end, she begins to go, but Delta tries to follow her. Sumire says that isn't possible and states that she should stay behind, telling her that if she tries to follow her, she'll put her back to sleep, a threat that angers Delta, who calls her Amini. They show up, but suddenly Shikadai is hit all at once by her ability, and he flat out pisses himself upon seeing her. This surprises Sarada and Sumire, who begin to feel that it's not a good idea for him to have come along. Ida thinks so too, and so she tells him that while it was nice to see him, that he should probably go home. Shikadai nods and says that he will, and that he hadn't planned to stay anyway, a statement questioned by Boruto. The effect she had on Shikadai startles Sarada, causing her to refuse to make eye contact with Ida. Ida thanks them for coming and bids them to follow her away from the boys, so that they can just talk and have some girl time. Naruto asks if Sumire and Sarada will be alright, and Kawaki says that they should be fine, and on the off chance that they're not, that he and Boruto could just take Ida out, which is technically what they're here for. Damon tells Kawaki to chill, reminding him of the situation, and that if anybody gets taken out by anybody, it'll be Boruto and Kawaki by Damon. Boruto, somehow remaining the peacekeeper, tries to get both to stop being so riled up. In the other room, Ida, Sumire, and Sarada sit on the bed and talk about Kawaki. Ida talks about how that now that she's finally here, she can't bring herself to really connect with him. She notes that her heart skips beats when he says her name out loud, and that she gets too nervous to speak to him when he's looking at her. She mentions that even though this is a dilemma for her, that she is truly happy because nobody in the world can make her feel this way besides Kawaki, and that must be true love. Sarada thinks her motivations are stupid. When Ida looks to Sarada, Sarada intentionally avoids eye contact, saying that it's only natural and that everyone who finds true love feels that way. She then comments internally on the weight of Ida's stare. Sumire speaks up and asks Ida what exactly she likes about Kawaki. Ida mentions that obviously it's because he has Otsutsuki DNA and thus is the only kind of person who can legitimately reciprocate her feelings. But she says that this isn't the only reason, and upon thinking about it, she can't actually decide what it is about Kawaki that she likes. Sumire looks to Sarada and speaks to her telepathically. She asks her if she's not affected. Sarada thinks about it for a moment and mentions that it's true. She doesn't feel any effect from Ida. She questions why and if it means that she is immune. Sumire also appears unaffected by the ability, but at the same time she cautions Sarada on the danger of this new development. Shikamaru chimes in on this as well, telling them that their lives could be in danger if they're not affected by her power. He says that her ability is a defensive one, an ability that keeps others from being able to attack her. But if Sarada and Sumire are not affected, then they, besides Naruto and Kawaki, are the only shinobi that could kill Ida if it comes down to it. Ida asks if Sarada is feeling well, and Sarada states that she feels fine and that she's just overtaken by her. Ida would then sigh and speak of how she hates this cursed ability. She says that it's because of this ability that she can't have any real friends. Moving back to the boys, Boruto and Damon are playing their handheld console together, and it seems that Boruto pulls out a secret attack that secures him victory. Damon calls cheating and asks him how he pulled it off. Boruto states that it's simply because he is older, and ironically I don't think this is true. I mean, yeah, Damon looks young, but he is a cyborg, and he was shut down for many years likely before Kawaki even met Jigen and Amado. This would likely put not only Damon, but Ida at an age far older than they actually are, but only in a chronological sense because they obviously don't think so. Boruto states that he can never be beaten by Damon at Pokinin. I can't help but see a Pikachu dressed like Kakashi. Suddenly, Momoshiki begins to speak in Boruto's head again, something that Boruto catches with an obvious expression. Momoshiki comments at his discovery of Ida's ability. Boruto first chastises him about breaking into his thoughts again, with Momoshiki stating that he isn't breaking into his thoughts. They just accidentally overlapped again, and that he was just meaning to talk to himself. Boruto asks what it was that he was saying about Ida's charm ability, and Momoshiki goes silent, refusing to talk. Boruto begins to demand an answer, but suddenly Kawaki speaks, demanding that he stop playing coy before specifically calling out Momoshiki. And with that, the chapter comes to a conclusion. Now, of course, the real meat of the story are the tidbits leading into something bigger. Obviously, Sarada and Sumire being capable of avoiding her ability is something worth noting, given that nobody can resist unless they're a relative or an Otsutsuki. However, Sarada and Sumire don't seem to be able to feel the effects of the ability, so what is going on? Is Ida subconsciously excluding them, showing that she may be developing some sort of control over her charm? Or is it possible that they may be somehow connected by blood without knowing? Or is it possible that they have Otsutsuki DNA? That is a question. After all, Sarada is an Uchiha, a clan that has deep connections to the Otsutsuki as proven by their Sharingan, something developed from Indra, son of Hagoromo and Otsutsuki himself. It also makes me question if the Hyuga clan might not be protected from her due to tracing their abilities all the way back to Hamada. At the same time, I just don't sense Ida being a true threat. Her intentions are simple, and while her powers are intimidating, I feel like the true threat here is Amado. Amado seems to be using his story about Akebi to lower the guard of the Konoha shinobi. First things first, Amado is assuming everyone doesn't know what's going on. With Naruto and Shikamaru, and perhaps many other characters don't understand the Karma Seal, we, the reader, do. The biggest thing that sets my alarm bells off is that he plans to use the Karma Seal to bring his dead daughter back to life, which is impossible. He can't bring her back with the Karma Seal, even if he is building it up that he can. He already said that his daughter died, and that he merely attempted attempted to put her memories into a clone that kept failing over and over. Delta is the closest thing he will ever come to bringing his daughter back to life. Here is a secret about the Karma Seal. You cannot use it to resurrect if you are already dead. Momoshiki placed the seal on Boruto right before his demise, and there was a reason why Ishiki was working so hard to manufacture a second Karma Seal. He didn't want to die, and for a technique that requires your death to resurrect, if Ishiki could come back to life after death, why would he try so badly to make a second working Karma Seal if he could just let his current vessel die and then place a second and come back to life from beyond the grave? A further example of this would be if a Karma Seal was planted after the Otsutsuki was already dead and could be used to call the soul back from the afterlife, then why is Kawaki an empty vessel? Amado said that because Ishiki was already dead after planting the new Karma Seal that he couldn't resurrect into Kawaki's body, and that Kawaki could merely use his powers as his own without needing to worry about taking over. As I said, a Karma Seal can't be used to bring someone back who died before it was planted, meaning that while Akebi is definitely his daughter who died in the past, he isn't planning to bring her back with the karma. He can only bring someone back if they're still alive. So what's he doing with the seal? What is he planning to reincarnate with it? As I said in the past, I believe that Amado was either one of two things. He was either the Otsutsuki god or a follower of the Otsutsuki god. The Otsutsuki god has indeed left behind a body, but he's far from being dead. Amado himself, as held up by Momoshiki, states that he may have ascended to a place where he requires no body. And through our studies of lore and uncovering the similarities between Diva from Buddhist and Hindu stories, we know that the Diva could become a type that possessed no need for physical form. But one thing that those types of Divas can do is interact with the lower world by taking on the form of a crude body. So just because the Otsutsuki god has ascended to a new dimension of power, this doesn't mean that he's gone for good. If he were, this would be a classic Chekhov's gun. According to this narrative guide, as described by Anton Chekhov, it states that if in the first act of a play or book or any literary work that a loaded gun is specifically mentioned to be hanging on a wall, by the end of the story that gun must go off. This is what Shibai, the Otsutsuki god, is. A Chekhov's gun. He is a promise that in the future we will get to see more of this, either by seeing Shibai return or by watching another character in the near future become the same as Shibai. And given all the mystery and lies surrounding Amado's stories and motivations, this could be the device with which Shibai returns. Amado can snow all the characters in this story, but he can't snow us. We're paying attention. Moving on, we need to wonder what it is that this might mean for the plot. Originally, I had believed Amado himself might be Shibai undercover, trying to find a way to incarnate into another body much like Ishiki had, and it is still possible. But it could also be that Shibai is asking Amado to help incarnate him into another body in hopes that Shibai will bring his daughter back to life. This likely means that Amado is planning to create a new Karma Seal using the DNA of Shibai from the body that is confirmed to still exist and be hidden somewhere to either implant into himself or Kawaki. And if it's implanted into Kawaki, then the betrayal of Kawaki begins to make more sense. How could the guy who loves Naruto more than life itself suddenly turn to the dark side and destroy everything that Naruto loves? Granted, it is not confirmed that he had killed Naruto, and is worded more closely to the concept that Naruto may merely be imprisoned somewhere else. And if so, that would keep with Kawaki's beliefs. But what is Kawaki's motivation in destroying everything Naruto fought so hard to protect? That is the number one thing we're missing. But we may have been hinted to what his motivations are. He's either a puppet of Shibai, or attempting to destroy the village to save Naruto from the threat of Shibai, who has likely done something that turns the entire shinobi world into a threat. And that, my friends, are my speculations that I've been boiling on since the chapter drop. But I'm sure you're all also asking if I'll keep my promise that I made to you at the beginning of the video. Indeed I will. There is news for Naruto fans everywhere. Big news. Naruto recently appeared at the Jump Festa and revealed a few big pieces of information. One is that the Sasuke Retsuden light novel will receive an anime adaptation, giving us more Naruto content that appears before the Boruto manga and anime. They also stated that they were working on an anime adaptation to the Code arc, but even bigger news was shared that I am personally excited for the most. They revealed that they are holding a Naruto character popularity poll. Now, before you ask, it's not just a poll. It has been confirmed that after they tally the votes, they will use the results as a way for the people to choose the next manga spin-off. That's right. we get to vote for which Naruto character will receive a spin-off manga, and I am absolutely shaking with excitement. Of course, there are plenty of choices, some that make me cringe, like Sasuke and Naruto are on there. I'm really hoping that nobody votes for them. The entire series has already been Naruto and Sasuke's spin-off. Various characters like Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi, Itachi, while all being fan favorites, really don't need a spin-off. I mean, I can't tell anyone who to vote for, and I wouldn't because that wouldn't be right. You vote for whoever you want, but when you do, at least take into account the character who will receive the spin-off. There are so many characters to vote for who would make a great spin-off manga with so much storytelling potential. Minato Namikaze would be on there. If we get a spin-off about Minato, we could possibly get a view into his clan history, his early life, as well as his many different actions during the Third Shinobi World War. We also have Madara Uchiha on there and Hashirama Senju, both of which would likely give us a greater glimpse into the Warring States period. Indra and Ashura Otsutsuki, Kaguya, Tobirama Senju, Kimimaro, Orochimaru, there are so many possibilities, and while no answer is wrong, in my heart of hearts, I really hope we don't get stuck with the obvious characters. But then again, I'm sure anything we get will be awesome, especially considering that Masashi Kishimoto himself, the GOAT, will be the one writing the manga out himself. So far be it from me to tell you who to vote for, but I'm just saying I know who I'm voting for: Madara, Hashirama, and Minato. And before you ask, yes, you can vote multiple times. Once per day, you're allowed to vote for your favorite character in the poll. There will be over 480 characters to choose from, with the event lasting from December 17th, 2022 until January 31st, 2023. So be sure to vote at narutop99.naruto-official.com. We'll try to leave a link to it for you in the description. I hope you are all as excited about this as I am. I can't wait to see who wins, and I can't wait for more Naruto and Boruto content. Be sure to leave a comment below talking about your beliefs on what will become of the Boruto story. Will Amado betray them? Does he have a secret plan? Will Ida become an enemy of Konoha or a friend? Will Kawaki's story make sense? Will we get stuck with an unfired gun hanging on Naruto's wall? Or will things go just as I mentioned them? Leave a comment below and tell us. Feel free to talk about your favorite Naruto characters as well and see what other commenters think about the choice. I bet we're gonna get an awesome manga out of this no matter who wins, so be sure to be kind to each other in the comments regardless of the user's choice. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when more content like this drops. Peace.